Hi everyone, hi, this is Minutes and welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome, and do like and subscribe if you want to know more about the spiritual topics or the fundamentals that I'm going to teach. So without further ado, let's get started. So today, what we're going to talk about is inner child. I don't know if you have heard of it, but it's a term that for a lot of people that going through mindfulness journey, term that we like to use to talk about the things that we accumulate as a kid. So this is the lens that we have developed since we're a kid, the lens that we see the world. We can call it the wounded selves. The past experience that from our birth to around age 7 to 9, this is how we actually tell the story to ourselves in our subconscious mind, and this is the house of our past experience. Inner child is the terms that we use to describe how we're feeling from the past experience in terms of needs in our childhood, no matter it's physical, emotional, and spiritually, and all the suppressed emotions that we built up since we're a kid. Let me give you an example. When you were young, your mom told you that you're not working hard enough for your exams. Feel like you're always critical about your lifestyle, or you're not sleeping early enough or anything. So it's the story that your mom kept telling you, or this wounded emotional feelings that you have from your parents. Then after all, you accumulate that, and when you grow up, you kind of have that feeling whenever you do something, you tell yourself you're not good enough, you're not working hard enough, you're just a lazy bum, because that's how your mom told you. And that's one of the examples of the wounded inner child. Another example, I think a lot of people have maybe single parent family. So what you see from as a kid, their interactions, like your father, mother arguing, whenever they argue, not communicating to each other. As a kid, maybe you have actually incorporate that in your mind, so you kind of think that that's the normal way when you deal with people when you argue. So when you grow up, you may have a tendency that do the same with family or in your relationship. Now, after we go for a few examples and explaining this inner child, so why do we need to know about it, and what does it do, and what does it affect? Actually, we need to first know that it's a part of us. We cannot neglect this inner child piece of you, because it's a part of you. That's what you grow up to, that's how it shapes your experience and your way of dealing with your life. It also affects our behavior pattern as an adult. So I guess a lot of you, in terms of how you react to or manage your relationship, your career, your friendship or love, everything, actually there's a behavioral pattern that actually is affected by this inner child. So it's kind of like the little kid that lives inside your heart. As I said, of course, it's also shaped how you see the world, how you know that everything you see is from the past experience from your childhood. This is kind of like a mechanism that you think it keeps you safe. But then again, why do we need to heal the inner child? Is because sometimes when we thought that we're getting hurt, our ego, so I will talk about ego in the next video, but then we do have something called the ego. The ego helps us to protect our inner child, and then when we feel like we're getting hurt, or we have an alert that knowing that someone is going to hurt our feelings, then the behavioral pattern that we learned from our childhood will come up. And in that sense, you'll be very responsive or reactive to the things that's happening to you, because it's kind of threatening your inner child. There are two things that you can do to actually start healing your inner child. So the first step, you need to know that it's a part of you, it's a part that built who you are, and you need to live with it. So as I said, inner child is nothing to be ashamed of. It's how you were brought up, and you need to acknowledge that when your wounded behavior that you are doing in your adulthood is actually causing because of the past experience from your childhood. The second step comes to acceptance of yourself, acceptance of this part of the inner critical voice. What I mean is that you don't shame yourself. You need to just be and accept that there's a part of you, as the behavioral changes comes in when you are understanding that all these past experience in your childhood actually shape who you are, but then you now can step back as a third party and look into it and actually change your behavioral pattern. For example, now you are acknowledging that you have an inner child and you're wounded, and now you're taking a step to actually change your behavior. So Say for example, when you're arguing with your friends or your loved ones, maybe you used to lash out like what your parents used to do, but now because you accept yourself and you're acknowledging that this is a part of your wounded inner child, now you know that like you don't need to react or lash out every time, because you can actually take a step back and do a more sophisticated conversation to just sort it out. So in terms of this behavioral changes, it's a forever changing experience, but I guess from the first day that you acknowledge it and accept it, then you're on your way to the mindfulness journey. Today, this is just a simple explanations of inner child, and I hope that it helps to ease your little questions about this. And if you want to know more about it, do let me know, do comment, and also if you like my videos and channels, do like and subscribe. Remember to click all the buttons there, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.